I had no idea the British press was so bigoted.
This one's wife. Harry dances on their graves. Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor with some shocking news about the behaviour of the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. Before I get to that, it's important to understand the context of their behaviour and also the spiritual and religious beliefs associated with Colombia. One of the most ethnically diverse countries in the world, Colombia is nestled in the northwest corner of South America. Nearly 70 languages and dialects are spoken in Colombia. It's understood that this one's wife can speak 69 of them. Many of them are indigenous, ethnic languages that may date back to the first inhabitants of the region around 12,000 BC. Once a mostly agricultural society, Colombia experienced a large migration in the mid-1950s to urban centres and is now a majority urbanised country in Latin America. Along with the rural migration to cities, Colombians of all backgrounds brought with them the techniques of traditional healing in Colombia. Passed down through the ages, these traditional healing methods provide a substantive healthcare framework that can not only help further modern medicine, but this can then be used to give back to the indigenous people in Colombia for greater care in preventing and treating illness. As in much of the world, Colombia's history begins far before colonization by Western cultures. Beginning around 14,500 years ago, nomadic hunter-gatherers began to settle, or at least begin living, on the land southwest of modern-day Bogota, in the Magdalena River Valley. In this land, rich and fertile from the Amazon basin and Andes Mountains, agricultural civilization grew and flourished there. Then came the Spanish conquistadors and colonization, which brought exotic diseases to the people of the region, a little bit like when this one's wife is in town. In that time, when Columbus, Ojeda and Balboa are exploring and charting new lands for the crown of Spain, Colombians' perspective on health was challenged as disease prevention ingrained in their culture. The Colombians, named in honour of Columbus himself, practiced many prescriptive health mores. For instance, the use of wearing amulets for health and safety, having positive rituals performed by the tribes and taitas or shamans to ward off bad spirits that could cause illness, and other such social, nutritional and religious controls to limit exposure to sickness and disease. Unfortunately, this does not spare the Colombians from massive loss of life and struggle as they coped with the newcomers. Over the next 500 years, Colombians settled into a mixed ethnic culture, while the more spiritual components of their healing traditions have been overtaken by Catholicism. They still have practices that mix their ancient and modern spiritual beliefs together. Historically, indigenous Colombians had many explanations for illness and disease. According to a paper published by the Human Genetics Institute from the Javeriana Pontifical University in 1993, in the studied communities, people believe disease happens as a result of combined natural and supernatural events. It is genuinely attributed to main sources: A, envy and hatred, which embodied themselves in a curse given by a wizard; B, foreigners' contamination; C, the loss of some of human shadows. They believe each person has 4 shadows that work in a similar way to energetic fields; D, weather conditions like rainbow, rain, heat or cold; E, feminine bleedings; F, inadequate social and sexual behaviours; G, nature damages done by men. In most of the groups, blows, bites and punctures are considered as accidents, and therefore they are not related to supernatural causes. From this paper, one learns that sicknesses are dealt with in escalating stages. For common ailments, herbalism and other household treatments are used that were learned by trial and error over generations. If it's more serious, then the patient is brought to a midwife or healer, then to a taita. And in modern times, if it is still more serious, The ill are taken to emergency services in the state health system. This means that the vast majority of ailments suffered by Colombians are treated and cured by traditional healing in Colombia before allopathic medicine is used. In this way, traditional healing in Colombia is quite common among other traditional medicines of other ancient global cultures. The uniqueness is the rich variety of medicinal plants in Colombia because of its proximity to the Amazon rainforest. It is host to approximately 10% of the world's biodiversity and 50,000 plant species, according to the Journal of Ethnobiology and Ethnomedicine Study, Folk Medicine in the northern coast of Colombia. With around 30 distinct uses, including flu symptoms, gastrointestinal issues, skin problems such as pruritus, respiratory inflammation, and other common ailments, of these freshly sourced plants from the uncultivated region. As a consequence of this traditional healing, it's understood that this one's wife and Harry sought to avail themselves of this as a consequence of this one's wife believing that her and Harry's plummeting popularity, loss of lucrative business opportunities, piss-poor content creation, and shunning by the Hollywood A-list is all as a consequence of a curse that has been placed on her and Harry by Queen Camilla. Apparently, Queen Camilla did this as retaliation for their comments about her in Harry's biography, Spare. This one's wife maintains that Camilla is a witch who has cursed them with foreign contamination and caused her and Harry to lose a shadow each. Unknown to the public, this is actually the main reason why the trip to Colombia has taken place. And this one's wife and Harry have taken stringent steps to keep this information hidden by ensuring that only photographs are approved by them and that only certain news outlets are given information by them in relation to this trip. Nevertheless, investigative work by your glorious narrator has unearthed shocking and revealing footage which demonstrates the true purpose of the Colombia trip. And I'm going to share that with you now. In a move which is seen as representative of their increasing desperation, the Sussex recently attended a school to undertake a special ceremony to lift the curse. 2 children were selected by the Duke and Duchess as human sacrifices. 5-year-old Gabriela Cortez said, "She smells weird." In a particularly twisted act, this one's wife made the 5-year-old dig her own shallow grave. Harry enthusiastically shovelled dirt, ironically beside a sign which read Awareness. The Prince of Pink Pancakes then led ritualistic dancing on the graves of the 2 children. The Vice President of Colombia shepherded other children away from the Sussexes, who they tried to purchase, and distracted the Duke and Duchess with an impromptu performance of It's Raining Men and some of Tracey Emin's art. There you have it, valuable viewers, the real reason why the Sussexes are in Colombia. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for watching.